This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and Small Account Update for the week ending July 20th, 2024. The market finished mixed this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average decreased minus 0.83% on Friday, but was up 0.72% for the week. The S&P 500 decreased minus 0.71% on Friday and was down minus 1.97% for the week. The Nasdaq decreased minus 0.81% on Friday and was down minus 3.25% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 7 up finishes versus 8 down finishes for the major indexes. On Monday and Tuesday, all the major indexes finished up. On Wednesday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished up, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq finished down. On Thursday and Friday, all the major indexes finished down. How did you do? My small account finished 1.52% higher and generated cash flow of 2.56%. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can also beat the S&P 500. I use a watch list to determine which options of stocks that I want to sell. A stock has to meet 5 criteria to be on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. Looking at my watch list from the week, the strongest performer on the list was Cipher Mining Incorporated, ticker symbol CIFR in the third column. It was up 3.17% on Friday and increased 32.26% for the week. Cipher Mining Inc. is a Bitcoin mining company that develops and operates Bitcoin mining data centers in Texas. They have 4 Bitcoin mining data centers. Their largest facility is in Odessa, Texas. It is a 207 megawatt data center. Their main facility is a 10 megawatt data center connected to the local electrical grid near Andrew, Texas. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that Cipher has increased almost 50% year to date. I generated cash flow from Cipher this week. I generated cash flow from selling 7 different option contracts, 2 calls, and 5 puts. That ranged from $12.34 to $20.34. So on Monday, I sold 2 calls, one for $16.34 and one for $13.34. On Wednesday, I sold 3 puts, 2 for $20.34 each, and 1 for $15.34. On Thursday, I sold 2 more puts for $12.34 each. I also received 33 cents in interest. That is a total of $110.71, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small. $110.71 in cash flow was 2.56% of my account value. With this system, the cash flow money is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it, or leave it in to build your cash balance and or invest it. If you want to increase the amount of cash flow, just use a larger account. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $1,107.10, use a larger account, and instead of selling 1 of everything that I sold, sell 10. This strategy is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately and every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. Please note, most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500 every year. they usually lose, and they lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the S&P 500 by almost 12%, but in 2024, my account is down minus 8.01% versus 15.5% up for SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. That's a difference of 23.51%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by about 23.5%. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year, which I am doing. So far in 2024, my account is still trailing the S&P by a lot. Even though I have made progress for the last 3 weeks, I am still down, but I am confident I will beat the S&P 500 by the year's end. What do you think? Tune in next week to find out what happens. Bitcoin Watch. Bitcoin gained 15.94% this past week and is down minus 9.14% from its all-time high. It is up almost 60% year to date. Some people believe, and I am one of them, that Bitcoin is the most transformative financial asset in 1,000 years. I think the best course of action is to dollar cost average, that is DCA, into the S&P 500 and DCA into Bitcoin at a 30 to 70% ratio for the next 10 years and or up to when you have invested at least $10,000. In fact, I have implemented a similar strategy where I have a Bitcoin dominant portfolio that is about 92% in a Bitcoin ETF. It is up 6.25% after 5 weeks. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Do you invest in Bitcoin, which again may prove to be the smartest investment of the decade? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how my small account and my Bitcoin dominant account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.